Hi guys. Okay, just wanted to give you guys a little tip, something that I was thinking about last night when I was working because it happened to me. One thing that you do not want to say to a patient is this, and you probably already know because we all experience it, or you will experience it. One thing you don't want to say to a patient is, I will be right back. And that is because most of the time we don't come back, do we? We don't come right back as expected. And sometimes they literally expect you to come right back within 5 minutes. And if you don't, then they'll start to feel away. They start to get frustrated and angry, and they will feel rejected because it's a feeling of rejection, because it's like you forgot about them. And you don't want to do that. So, one thing that you don't want to do is make false promises. And even though you had good intentions and you really thought you were going to come back, but you know that doing the job that we do, we are pulled in so many different directions, and we don't know what the next minute is going to hold for us because so many unexpected things happen, and we have to always be prepared for the unexpected. But the patient is not prepared for that because in their mind, all that matters is them and their care and what they need. And we have to understand that even though we are working there and even though we may be short staffed, the patient really doesn't care anything about how many people you have working on the floor with you. They don't care. They want what they want, when they want it, the time that they want it. And we know, it's not realistic, but in their mind it is. And we have to come down to their level and be professional about it. And we can't go to the patient and be like, well, you're not the only patient on the floor, and I have such and such patients, and I'm the only one working. They really don't care about that. And as a professional, that is something that you should not bring up to the patient because it really doesn't matter. All that matters is them and their needs. That's why when you're working on the floor, you're going to find, even when you're short staffed, that you're going to have to prioritize, and that the best thing for you to do is to be quick to hear and slow to speak. Let the patient talk, and just keep it down to one word, one worders, or one liners. Don't try to give excuses and things like that because they really don't care, and you're just wasting your breath. Just let them know that when I can, I will be there. That's all you can do, isn't it? When you can, you will be there. Or when someone can, they will be there. Because sometimes patients, and you'll get needy patients, and people are just that way. Some people do it out of fear. Some people do it because they know that they can, and this is the only place where they can get that kind of attention because they don't get that attention at home. So you have to, in a professional way, deal with things like that. But when it comes to patients, do not make false promises saying that you're going to be right back, especially if you know that you're not going to come right back, or you may not come right back. It could be a small thing like coming back to bring them a blanket or a straw or a spoon or something like that to turn off their light, to put their socks on their feet, little things like that, things that are not urgent. And if you have a more urgent matter that you're called to, and you don't come right back to that patient, you know, that can be a problem for them because they're putting all this hope and everything into you, and you don't want that type of pressure on yourself. So when you're in a patient's room and you know that there are still things that you need to do for the patient, tell them that you have to go attend to something else, and when you can, you will be back to do this or that. And another thing you can do, for instance, if a patient is brushing their teeth, you already set them up to brush their teeth and they can do it themselves. Don't say, okay, I'll be right back. Just say, when you're finished, ring your light and someone will be here to help you. That is much better than saying, I'll be right back, and then you get pulled to, something where a patient had a big blowout, and then you have to do a complete bed bath, bed change, all of that. And that's going to take you a minute, a good while. So now this patient over here that's brushing their teeth, and it takes 5 minutes for them to do that, they're expecting for you to come back. And because you said that you were going to come back, they're not going to ring their light. No, they're not. They're going to wait for you to come back. And if you take an hour to come back, that's going to be a problem, because it shouldn't take you an hour to come back. And you knew that they were brushing their teeth, and brushing, the teeth does not take a long time. So you see, they're putting it together in their mind that way, and they don't understand, or they probably do understand, but it probably really doesn't matter to them, or they're not really thinking with that type of thought that you have other things to do. They're thinking, I was brushing my teeth and you knew I was brushing my teeth and you told me you were coming back but you didn't. And especially if they're elderly, they really don't care what you have to do. If a person is younger, you will find that younger patients usually don't bother you that much because they know they don't want to be a bother themselves and they just want to chill out anyway. But it's when you get that older group, and even some younger people expect these things too, but it's most likely in the older. So you have to be careful with the promises that you make to your patients. Don't make promises that you may not be able to keep. So stay away from that line, I will be right back. Just come up with your own personalized line to let them know that someone will be there, or when I can, I will be there to do this or that for you. And if I am not able to do it, somebody else will. But if you need assistance, immediately ring your call light, because that's what it's there for. And you want them to know that this call light is your help, and someone, whether it's you or someone else, they will be there to help you. So don't put that much burden and all of that responsibility on you. And, don't make it seem like you are their savior, because there's going to come a time when you can't be there. And you don't want them to expect you to be there. Expect someone that works at the facility that you're working at. Expect that person to be there, whoever that person is. That is what you want your patient to have in their mind, even though it's your patient. But the reality is you can't be there for that patient all the time, especially when you have 20 other patients to attend to, or even 40 patients. Sometimes it's one CNA to a floor because the facility is so short-staffed. So with your wording, you have to be careful, and also let them know that your nurse is here to help you too. It's not just a CNA, because sometimes we can divide responsibilities. We all know that a CNA cannot do a nurse's job, but a nurse can do a CNA's job. And the nurse can do everything that we can do, but we can't do what the nurse does. So in the patient's mind, they have, this is nurse and this is CNA. If I need to do this, this is CNA. Let them know that if I'm not here to help you, your nurse can help you too. Don't let them think that it's just you, and that when a nurse comes into the room and they're there attending to them, they will throw off that responsibility or throw off that need and won't ask the nurse to help when the nurse is right there and that nurse can help them, and then they wait for you. And then when they do that, they're waiting forever for you to come back, or they're waiting for a long time because you have other things to do. You have other nurses that you're helping. So we want to get that type of mentality out of their mind. We want them to know that your nurse is here to help you, and your aide is here to help you, or your CNA is here to help you. And even though we can't give them medications, but we can, talk to the nurse and communicate with the nurse on your behalf, but also utilize your nurse. Your nurse is here to help you as well, okay? Because that removes a lot of burden off of you and a lot of confusion with your patients, and they can be able to ask for help at the time that they need it, and not wait and try to delegate tasks to this one is for this and this one is for that, when we're all here to help each other and to help the patient. Okay, so you guys, I hope I explained that well. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.